I feel like wedding venues in The Sims are one of those things that I always need, but somehow like never have. I guess because I just don't think about it and I don't really often build them. So today we're gonna try and build a beautiful wedding venue, but using just the base game so that everybody can download it. Now this is part of a sort of daunting project that I've started to build lots to fill all of Newcrest. I made a video kind of discussing these plans last week that I'll link down below, but this is the first community lot that I'm building. The idea being just that Newcrest is always empty and it kind of sucks. So I'm really making an effort right now to build some lots to fill it up. I drew out this whole map. I've got like a whole plan of where the houses are gonna go and what community lots I'm gonna build. So I built this in like the bottom section of Newcrest where the big lots are. This one's a 40 by 30 lot, but next door there's a 50 by 40 lot, if that helps you kind of picture what I'm talking about. And with this one, I obviously wanted it to be a nice wedding venue, have like the wedding arch and the tables and the chairs and all those wedding things, basically appropriate for like any wedding you wanted your Sims to have here. But I also wanted it to be kind of dual purpose. Like I wanted it to also be a place that you could just come and visit. I don't know how many of you actually would come and visit this place because it's very wedding focused, but my idea was to build it as a lounge using that lounge lot type. So that way if you wanted to come here and just like use it like a bar, basically you could. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really understand the differences fully between like the lounge and bar and nightclub in The Sims. Obviously they have like different lot requirements, and I think a kind of different crowd of Sims comes to each. From what I've noticed, it seems like elder Sims tend to frequent the lounge lot type, so I was kind of trying to cater to that crowd with this build. I ended up calling this lot the Newcrest Country Club. Obviously it's not like actually a country club, but that's kind of the vibes that I was going for. When I'm like envisioning how I'm gonna build out this part of Newcrest, I'm thinking of it as being like a really fancy part of town. This lot's on the lake, but on the other side of the street, there's kind of a golf course back there, so I feel like country club kind of fits. For those that aren't familiar, a country club is kind of like a stuffy, fancy place that you can go. I think there's usually like a membership fee, and like wealthy older people frequent country clubs. Don't ask me more questions than that. I don't know. I don't go to country clubs, but that was kind of the vibe that I was going for with this. It also has like a little mini stage inside, so it's got like a piano and a microphone and stuff. There's a bar, obviously. And then also on the interior, I put a few things that might be nice for throwing parties here. So there's a kitchen in case you wanted to have a caterer come, or if you needed to like last minute bake a cake or something. There's also like a little getting ready sort of room that I put, because I imagine like if you were having a wedding here, it might be nice to pretend to have your Sim get dressed in there. Obviously in The Sims, you don't really need to do that, but in real life, it would be nice to have. And then I put like two separate wedding setups. There's a wedding arch and chairs outside and one inside. My thought with that was kind of like, ooh, if the weather is bad, it might be nice to have like an indoor space. And I made the whole thing like all white. It's all white chairs, all white flowers, just white everywhere. Because I kind of thought also if you wanted to play on this lot, that way it would be easier to like add in some extra decor that fit whatever wedding theme you were going for. So like it's all white, but you could like add some additional red flowers as an accent or something really easily, and then it wouldn't like be clashing with anything. Okay, and the other sort of weird thing that I feel like I must warn you about with this lot is that obviously I was trying to go for like country club vibes where you can also have a wedding. So like I didn't want it to be exclusively a wedding venue. I wanted it to seem like there was other reasons to be here, and like maybe in real life this lot just has events hosted here. There's this kind of side room inside that I was imagining people might just use for like various things in real life. Maybe you'd have like a regular party there instead of just a wedding. Kind of like a convention center sort of vibe, but obviously it's extremely small. It's not a convention center by any means. And then also I was kind of trying to go for like this lot being a thing that your Sims could come to outside of just a wedding. So like it's classed as a lounge, but you could also switch it to the wedding venue lot type. So I wanted to include things that might be nice, like for, you know, lounge purposes. And I also was thinking a lot about woohoo spots. This is kind of a weird thing to say, but I often think about woohoo spots in the community lots that I build. Why am I like making sure there's a spot in public for my Sims to woohoo? I don't know, but it is a thought that crosses my mind. So usually on a lot like this, I would add in like maybe a woohoo bush or like the closet from Get Together. But because this is base game, my options for like woohoo places were kind of limited. I couldn't even do like a dumpster or something in the back. So we had two options. You're probably noticing that observatory in the back there. Yeah, that's because I was really considering leaving an observatory back here and then having your Sims woohoo there. I just felt like it didn't really work though. Like it was kind of weird. And it's The Sims, so weird's not necessarily a bad thing, but I thought it was too much. So I ended up getting rid of the observatory and I actually replaced replaced it with a hot tub, which maybe is a little bit weirder. Like, why is there a hot tub here? But keeping in mind that I'm going for like country club vibes, if you can picture High School Musical 2 for a second, like the summer vacation one where they're going out and working at the country club and like Sharpay is there, she does yoga classes, half the school's working in the restaurant, there's a golf course, they do golf lessons, there's a pool and they work as lifeguards. Like, that's kind of the vibe, obviously on a lot smaller scale on this lot. So I think if there was a pool here, it wouldn't be super out of place. I just didn't put it because I had a wedding set up instead, but I included a hot tub. And the reason being I was channeling High School Musical 2. And also your Sims can woohoo in the hot tub if they so desire, so everybody wins. So hopefully that kind of explains all of the plans that I had for this build. Let's talk a little bit about like what it actually looks like for a second. As far as the exterior goes, I was kind of inspired by that lot from the Cats and Dogs world. There's sort of like a loungy country club looking thing in Brindleton Bay, and I kind of liked the shape of that one. So I was kind of trying to do something like that. You can see it with like the sort of long building and like the big back patio and stuff. But then the actual roofing was sort of a random choice. I didn't really set out to do this, but I ended up putting this like glass roof on top that looks kind of cool. So there's like this beautiful light coming in the inside. My main goal really was just to make this not look like a church. Like, I wasn't trying to build a church wedding venue at all. I just wanted like a pretty fancy building where you could hold events. But like with it being white and having like the fancy pointed roof, I felt like it was kind of leaning towards church. So I tried to add in like the fancy roofing and stuff to fix it. And then the exterior layout like of the yard and stuff was really rough as well. I wanted to split it up really nicely and have like beautiful pathways and walkways and stuff. It just isn't a huge lot, so I kind of struggled there. And I had a really hard time with the landscaping in the front because I wanted to have like all white bushes everywhere. Normally I would like maybe try and do some more colorful landscaping, but I kind of liked on this lot how everything was white. Like the walls were white, the fencing's white, the roof is white, we've got these white flowers. Like I was really trying to embrace that. And I had this like kind of big front space that was hard to fill. And then in the back, obviously I wanted to have like a beautiful walkway going straight up to the wedding arch, but I didn't really know like what to put around it or what kind of flooring to use. So there was a lot of trial and error here. I settled on like a kind of light gray gravel as the flooring for the pathway, and I thought it looked really nice. And then I did a lot of testing of like what I wanted to add decoration wise. Like, did I want to do some cute pillars with flowers? Did I want to put like a fountain back here? So you'll see me go back and forth a lot with the like decor of the back. And eventually I discovered something really cool. This is kind of the fun of building with the base game, is that it sort of pushes me to really try to use things I never use. Specifically, a lot of debug items. And there's some kind of cute like debug flower pots and things like that that I included. But believe it or not, there are debug base game fairy lights. The base game kind of has some fairy lights. There's a couple variants. There's like the little flip-flop fairy lights in the base game, which unfortunately I'm not sure fit with the style of this particular building. And then there's also the fairy lights that came with like the free holiday pack, but those hang on walls and they're kind of big, so I don't really know if they would work for this build. But there's actually a base game debug version of those lights from Toddler Stuff, like the super cute like pole with the light string hanging from it. There's base game versions of those a couple years ago. And if you weren't here for this is gonna sound really weird, but a couple years ago The Sims did this like music festival over the summer. A lot of games have been doing like in-game concerts recently, and The Sims sort of jumped on that. And they had this thing called Sims Sessions, and for like a brief period of time there was concerts in the park in Willow Creek on the weekends in game. They had like all these food booths, there was a merch stand, and then they literally made Sims of like real life artists and they sang their song in Simlish in game. I'm actually gonna link a video that I made when I went to this for the first time down below in case you want to go and watch it. But when they did this Sim Sessions thing, they kind of borrowed items for the event from other packs. So for example, there was like tents by the festival, there was food booths, and they were like different packs food booths. So I think like one of the eco lifestyle booths was like made base game for this. But when I say made base game, I don't mean they like put it in your regular catalog, but because they used it for the festival, it's in the base game debug catalog. So you can go dig around and find it. All of that is to say, they used those toddler lights around the music festival. So there's a base game debug version of the toddler lights, and they even light up and stuff. Now, if you're looking for these, because I know debug is kind of a nightmare, you can actually search like sessions on the gallery or Sim Sessions or whatever, and people have uploaded like huge rooms with all of the sessions items in there. And I found one that was just like the lights and then I downloaded that and then grabbed them more easily because that way you don't need to like dig through debug yourself for it. But that is base game. So like any of you that have The Sims will be able to do that. And the gallery is a great tool for that. Honestly, the gallery is so good for finding like debug stuff or like useful things like that. People make like custom paintings that you can get off the gallery. There's like custom photographs. You can even find like living cow plants if you don't want to grow one yourself or like worry about debug. You can just search cow plant on the gallery and then someone will have uploaded one. I've also gotten like ambrosia, you know, the food that you can make to bring your Sims back to life? There's like ambrosia on the gallery. So if you're ever looking for anything particular, chances are somebody has probably uploaded it to the gallery already. Or even just like plants in general. If you wanted your Sim to have like a full garden, you can search plants on the gallery and there'll be rooms uploaded that just have like all the perfect plants or like 10 perfect tomato plants or whatever. So it's kind of useful. I'll stop talking about plants for a second and kind of describe what I'm actually building here. So you can see right now I'm sort of working on like the bar section. I really like the layout of this interior because when you walk in, there's like a stage, it's got a piano and stuff, there's some tables in front of it, and I was kind of picturing like lounge vibes when I did this. Like I was sort of thinking about how the Blue Velvet looks in the base game world, how they have like all those tables by the piano and stuff. I was sort of thinking like maybe you could sit there at the table and watch a performance, or obviously those tables would be great for like a wedding reception, but this way it kind of serves both purposes. And then right next to it, there's a fancy bar, and towards the very end, I go back and I add in like a fake dance floor. That's one of the other problems with just the base game is that we don't have things like the dance floor or the buffet table or anything like that that I maybe would normally include in a wedding venue. But we can pretend. We can just put plain empty tables and we can use floor tiles to create a fake dance floor and then put music in front of it. But yeah, this lot should be good for base game weddings or weddings with the wedding pack, which by the way, I think a lot of people did not realize wedding venues don't come with the wedding pack. Everybody's got the wedding venue lot type. Obviously, I am currently building this as like a lounge, but it'll also work as a wedding venue. I'm just imagining that I'm probably gonna keep it in my game as a lounge. I know I keep saying this, but I prefer lots that have like multiple purposes. So this way I can actually just come here for a drink instead of only getting married here. But then obviously if you wanted to have a wedding, you could make it a wedding venue. Although you can just hold a wedding at a lounge, so you don't have to switch it. But on the gallery, I uploaded this as a wedding venue just to make it easier to find. I know the gallery is an absolute nightmare. So if you're in the future watching this and deciding to go back and search for it, it's usually harder to find builds that are old on the gallery in my experience. But this is called the Newcrest Country Club and it's a wedding venue. My name's just lilsimsie on the gallery and I haven't built that many wedding venues, so you should be able to just filter like by wedding venue on my page. But in case you need to like search or use hashtags, hopefully that helps. And eventually, once I finish all of this, which is gonna take me a while, I'm gonna upload a save file for like the whole of Newcrest because I'm gonna fill all of Newcrest with like all of these lots. As of recording this, I've built 3, which is not a lot, but I built a starter home, this wedding venue, and a playground. So we're not making a lot of progress, but we're making some progress. And I only started last week, so it's fine. 3 in a week is good. That's a lot. I'm pretty excited about it too because I've sort of decided that I think I might make all base game versions. Like I'll fill the entire world with base game stuff, but then maybe go back and make like a secondary version of a few of the lots that maybe uses a pack or 2. So for example, I built a little playground, but I also built a second version of the same lot, like to be placed in the same place. That's a dog park instead. Obviously for that I use cats and dogs in the base game, and then maybe I'll make like a bar but have a second version that's a restaurant, so that way if you have dine out you can use it, but if you don't, there's a base game version. Because what I really need to do is build more lots. With a plan to rebuild an entire world, what I really need to add on is more lots to build. I mean, it's working out so far. Like I already got so excited that I built 2 versions of the same park. I guess now that I say that, I'm like looking back at this wedding venue and thinking like, oh man, maybe I should have made a version that has a woohoo bush. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll make a second version that's got like a woohoo bush and I don't know, like the wedding buffet table. The 2 most important objects, you know, buffets and bushes. Okay, so we're almost done with the build. We're just putting on some like finishing touches of the decor and like adding in any last minute things I think you might need. This is making me want to have like a big Sims wedding. And that's saying something because I haven't had a desire to have a big Sims wedding since the wedding pack came out because that one kind of, it was, a hard time. The wedding pack was a hard time when it first came out. It's a lot better now. It actually works now most of the time. Most of the time. If you weren't around when the wedding pack first came out last year, it literally did not work. Like the wedding pack came out, I played with it the first time when I had early access and was like filming videos with it and stuff. My Sims didn't get married. They were totally glitched. The game was like completely busted when it first came out. Again, they've done a lot to fix it. It's better now. It works now. Your Sims will successfully be married at the end of an event. But it just, every time I think about that, the wedding pack causes me like actual pain. The most painful Sims packs, in my humble opinion, are the wedding pack and the Star Wars pack. And not even as much as My First Pet stuff was. That one was painful when it came out, when they like made DLC for DLC. That was rough. That was a bad day. The Star Wars pack and the wedding pack are like unmatched in terms of like community stress that they cause for different reasons. The Star Wars pack wasn't broken like this one was, but oh, did it get made fun of? It got made fun of so much. In that sense, I think Star Wars is like more similar to My First Pet stuff, but I actually like My First Pet stuff better. Now that it's been a few years and I've like let it soak in, it comes with a new death. Your Sims can like die from a rat. It's kind of fun. I hate to say it, like I'm anti selling a pack for another pack. Like the fact that you have to also have cats and dogs to get all the stuff. I don't agree with that. I'm against that. But like you can get bit by a rat and then get sick and die. That's hilarious. It's one of the best deaths in the game, dare I say. It's like actually really fun. I gotta stop talking about Sims death. I think at this point we're pretty much done with the build. Now that you've seen the speed build and seen the whole process of how I made it, I want to pop back into the game and show you a tour of the finished product. So this is the Newcrest Country Club on the gallery. Hopefully this helps you find it if you're looking for it. And these, by the way, are the Sims Sessions lights that I was talking about. They're base game. I found them from this person, wabi-sabi-berry_6. So if you're looking for these too, I saved this to my library. I favorited this because I was so excited about it. This is my Newcrest save file right now. As you can see, it's a work in progress, but this is the lot that we built today. I think I'm gonna put like a beautiful big park next to it and then a couple like fancy houses over here in this area. Here's what it looks like from the outside. Now the front took me so long to figure out. The landscaping of the front of this building was a nightmare for me. In the end, I used these like really pretty debug fences to kind of like fill out the front. We've got a little path that goes around the back and there's kind of a cute sitting area. You can maybe get some pretty pictures here with your Sims. There's a fountain. Up here we have that glass roof I was talking about, and if you come around the side, and then we kind of have like an outdoor seating area. You could maybe even have your reception out here if you wanted to. There's also a hot tub and some fairy lights. Further down this pathway we have like a little fountain, and this is my favorite part. I love how this looks. Like your Sims could come out these doors, past the fountain, and walk down the aisle to get married. And then look at this. When they walk down the aisle, I put these like kissing llamas behind them. So they'll stand here and there's like some pretty flowers and stuff. I just thought this was beautiful. I'll take any excuse to use this llama topiary because like when else are you gonna put it somewhere? So I put it there. When you actually come inside the building though, you walk into this little front door right here, and I have like a guest book on this table. I thought maybe your wedding guests could sign it. Obviously that's fake. It's just decorative, but that was the story. And then when you come in, this is the reception area. I put this table here for like the wedding cake or any sort of dinner that you make, so you can lay it out there. The Sims can sit here and eat. We also have like a little stage where someone can perform. This is one of those things that's a requirement for the lounge. You need to have like an instrument and a microphone and stuff, but I thought like in real life maybe you could do speeches up there or something at the wedding. Down this way we've got a little bit of a bar right here. I really liked this part because I hid these mirrors behind this bar item. I never use this thing because I hate how it has that blue light in the background. No matter what swatch you use, it's got like a, I don't know, a shiny LED light, and I just don't like it. So I put a mirror behind it, and I think it looks really fancy back here. This is kind of that fake dance floor that I made that I was talking about. I put like a miniature stage for the music here too. And then back down this little hallway, this is like the employee area, so they can get to the bar. They can also get into the kitchen. And this will be so useful for like having a caterer come, or if you wanted to like last minute cook a cake or something, you've got everything that you need in there. And then back around this way, I've got like a fancy archway that leads into the next wedding room. This is the indoor space for in case it's raining or anything. I like lined it with chandeliers, there's music, there's flowers, and then you walk up and your Sims can get married here. And I did this kind of cool thing with the curtains to have like some fancy curtain paneling behind you. I will say these curtains were a nightmare to like size up and get to not look horrible because they're clipping into the floor technically, so they would like turn blue sometimes. If it wasn't base game, I would have used like some of the bigger curtains from packs, but these are base game curtains sized up, so they were just annoying to work with. And then on either side of this archway, I put one little tiny bathroom. There is only one toilet here, but I don't think it'll be an issue. It's not like a huge lot or anything. And then we also have that little like getting ready room for the couple that's getting married. I tried to make this like fake vanity. We've got like some champagne. We have like a coat rack and a full-length mirror just to pretend that your sim could like, you know, get dressed for the big day in here. Again, that's just a fake part. I put like a full-length mirror and a coat rack and stuff just so you could pretend your sim could like get dressed for the big day. Obviously they can't actually do that. It's The Sims 4, but it looks nice. And that's the whole lot. Obviously it's not very big. On the patio over here, I just have like some little seating and stuff. I didn't really want to use these particular chairs, but for it to be a lounge, I had to use love seats. So I used those. And like I said, I've got this class as a lounge in my game, but on the gallery, it's a wedding venue. It works as both, so you could set it as either in your game. And that's the finished product. I hope that you like it. I really enjoyed building this. This kind of got me excited to build more community lots because I don't really do this kind of thing all that often, but I'm proud of this one. So I think on that note, I'm gonna end this video right here. If you wanted to watch that video on the Sim sessions or the video that I made talking about my Newcrest plans, I'm gonna link both of those down below for you. And if you liked this video and you think you might like to watch this sort of thing live, I actually stream builds over on my Twitch channel all the time. My name's just lilsimsie on there. I'll have that link for you down below too. Thank you for watching. Have the best rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody. The amount of time that I spent thinking about like where I could take screenshots of my Sims is almost embarrassing. That was a huge deciding factor on this lot.